Hi, Flynn here. Today I'm going to talk to you about gravy. Gravy is one of those things that we always assume that people know how to make, and very often we're disturbingly wrong. I remember a phone call that my father got one day when his new sister-in-law had married into the family, and she was starting one of her first dinners. She actually called up in a panic and said, "Gravy." And my dad said, what about gravy? And she goes, "Doesn't it just come?" No, it really doesn't. And that's another thing that's kind of stuck with me over a long period of time. So what I have, in order to go along with just a very basic meal that I'm creating, a very basic, these are things that you very might possibly have in your kitchen, in your storage, to make it. So no pan drippings, no all sorts of other stuff. I just wanted to make sure that I'm using just a very basic one to get everyone up and running. It's also a very versatile item and dresses up almost anything on the plate, as well as your doctor's Lipitor prescription. So, sorry about that shake, wonder what that was. But anyhow, let me show you what I've got here. I'm going to push this down a bit. Actually, let me take that right off. So what I have is 2 cups of low sodium chicken broth. I have a half a stick of butter. I've got a bouillon cube, optional. I've got half a can, or about 6 ounces of mushrooms, and 1/4 cup of general purpose flour. A little bit of salt if I need it, I don't know. And also I've got some pepper in a pepper mill over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to stick that into a small saucepan, and I'm going to start warming up. And since I put the chicken broth in there, I'm going to start warming up a small skillet. And into that skillet, I'm going to put that half a stick of butter. I cut it up just for ease of melting purposes. And we're going to wait until that gets melted down. Okay, so we've got the butter just about all melted here, and it's frothing. When it's frothing, what it's actually doing, by the way, is boiling the liquid water moisture out of it. And so what you're doing is actually you're just getting it down to the casein, and you're getting it down to the milk fat and the oil that is kind of within it. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take this flour. This flour, measured off to a 1/4 cup, is in fact the same amount weight-wise as the butter. What we are doing is we're making a roux, and a roux is where all sorts of great things start. But to be specific, this is our thickener for that gravy. Now, this is also the basis for gumbo, several other dishes, and it can take on a really nutty, delightful flavor. What we're doing right now is we're just simply toasting it a little bit to get rid of that kind of floury, gritty, pasty sort of thing that that flour has, especially if you use it raw. On every now and again, when I'm really pressed for time, I'll skip this step and actually just use it straight in, but that's really not the best. What you want to do is you want it just till it starts turning just a little bit browner than normal. And with that takes away that raw flour kind of grittiness that you can actually get. Now, we've got that hovering where we kind of want it. This we're going to start to get it warmed up. And I'm also going to add the mushrooms. Again, totally optional. That's all stirred in. And now that is browning up nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn this off, put it into a holding pattern until that warms up. All right, now this is starting to steam a little bit. We're not up to boiling point yet, but I've also got one chicken bouillon cube. This is the Knorr brand. No, it's not I'm not getting paid, or it's not promoted or anything like that. It's just like I like the flavor of this one just a little bit more. But it's got a little extra sodium in it, and that will take up for the fact that the low sodium broth that we used is making up the body of the gravy. And so as that heats up, I'm going to stir it around a little bit, make sure it gets dissolved. All right, so we now have a good rolling boil. We've got a bouillon cube that is fully dissolved, and now I'm simply going to add the roux into the chicken broth. Now, the roux will only thicken when the base broth is boiling. If you try to add this into something that's colder, it's actually not going to work. Now I'm going to use about 7/8 of it just to see if what we have is enough to thicken it. You can probably even start off by 3/4. And we'll see if that's enough. And it takes a good minute. I'm thinking I'm probably going to need the rest. I'm actually going to grab a silicone spatula here just to get the rest. Oops. And I believe we have what you call legs. Legs are the adhering power of the gravy. And if I just stick in the back of a spoon and I look down, do you see how it coats the spoon on the back? That's exactly what we're looking for right there. So we've still got a mad boil going, so I'm going to take this one down to low. This one is a little large, but I'm going to taste this for both salt and pepper. The salt is spot on. I'm going to put in about between 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. Spill it all over the place in the process. And our gravy is done. Boy, that just worked out, didn't it? Anyways, that is how you make gravy. I hope very much that it comes of use to you when you're now trying to learn to make food on your own and how to dress up even your basic creations. Thanks a lot for listening to me right now, and thanks for visiting Eating Plebian.